silhouette of Betty Boop or Jessica Rabbit. The figure 8 curves, big boobs, hips, hourglass, and everything. Now, the narrative has come to the fact where that is now the desirable. You know, you talked about Obi Kubana, right?
Yes.
Obi Kubana now is going back to the old narrative. Nigeria. I know Nigeria, when you have money, fat was the sign of you having money. Yeah. Then what did that transition happen? Darigo won Miss, Agbani won Miss and we all realized, whoa, skinny is lush, healthy is everything. I remember coming back to Nigeria and right at the airport, I saw somebody stretching leg. I was like, what's going on here? They say we fit farming. That's the first time I heard it. But so this transition now is that globally, they've gone the other way. We've gone from now, you now hear descriptions of thick. Somewhere between slim and fat, there is thick. But thick is a reference to the lower regions, the hips, the thighs, and all of that. So we've had a shift. So first of all, the shift is not a Nigerian shift. No, it's a global, it's a global shift. Yeah. And it is now a shift that is our influencers digitally, which is why your sex workers, you need to scale up. You need to keep with the times if you want to stay in business. That's how businesses thrive. They go with the times.
Issue for them.
But the fact is, these people have changed, and the media followed. The beauty industries followed because they realized how lucrative these influencers were. People were paying. I remember, what's that club in Las Vegas? Is it Club Tao? For how many years in a row they paid Kim Kardashian an obscene amount of money to come and celebrate her birthday there. She didn't pay them. They paid her to come and sit in the VIP on the balcony, drink very expensive champagne, hold a mic for a few minutes and say, hello everybody, thank you for coming to party with me on my birthday. Oh my God. And when we were back to the show, so was she the one that came to Nigeria? The plane was still on. So people were upset when she came. I was like, what did you expect her to do? Did you ever watch her show? This is exactly what she did in appearance. I'm so happy you came out to party with me and my family. Oh my God. That's it. She don't do nothing else. She's not famous for anything else. She's an influencer. But because these industries realized that the influencers had become, in fact, the fashion models now needed to learn how to become influencers to stay relevant.
Absolutely. Totally.
So the influencers came in and they changed the narrative. So, excuse me, when you influence, you are influencing the masses. You go sell it. So people now, it's in your faces every day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's like I was saying, you know, we don't respect our celebrities. We just take Nasi, Sime, Toke. We're just calling their names anyhow. Like you recall, what's her name? Give me one popular actress, Julia Roberts. Or you, I mean, those are Hollywood. I mean, you people should reference your Nollywood.
Let me reference our celebrities. We want to open our phone line. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, thanks for staying with us. Now, if you just tuned into our Ladies' Night Out, and we are asking, why is Brazilian butt lift so lucrative right now in Nigeria? Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-8663. You can also tweet at us at Wayshow Africa1 with the hashtag Wayshow. Our phone line is now open. Remember, the number to call is 07025007749. And turn off the volume of your television set when you're calling. Uti, I'd like you to conclude, but I want to ask this question. The why. We've not answered the why. You know, so there's a global thing, right? I know it's a global trend, and I know all this thickness and all of that started with Kardashian, because I remember that time we used to watch. My sister loves Kardashian before, so I would always watch it, and I know that I saw those episodes where they would go and sit on a scanner just to scan the butt, just to prove that they didn't have implants on. Then they were not letting out their secrets.
It's just Kim K, though.
No, I think Chloe did it, and
not Chloe.
Courtney.
No, Courtney has the kids. Chloe did it.
And two of them, they were always sitting on the scanner to scan the bum to prove to the world that they. But you know, then they were still keeping it under low key until, of course, they now saw that this might be a business. I'm sure a lot of doctors paid them to make it a big deal for people. So I want to ask the why in Nigeria. Okay. So youngest old man from Lagos.
Oh wow!
Thank you for calling. Let's hear what you have to say.
Good evening.
Good evening. Volume.
You see, this is your topic, the thing, I kind of felt for the lady that lost her life in trying to make her nature look more better than the way heavens created it. It's okay, now it's in the rain. But for me, I kind of advise people, because one funny thing about Nigerians is that we don't really go after consequences. We only go after the results. So it's natural about us. We are stubborn to that extent. So honestly, when people are talking now, I think we should be just for example now, doing the other thing in the other room for the younger ones. I think instead of telling them not to do it, you tell them the safest way to do it. Because even if you say they should not do it, they will still do it. True. So I have to use that terms to advise the younger ones coming up. I think the organizations or anybody involved should see how we can imply insurance into this system. Where you want to go and do such thing, the insurance company will come in and give you a life insurance. It's going to help them to checkmate the safety of what we're going into. Because when you have a life insurance, that is already helping you to be safe on one ground. Then on the other hand, even if you buy, the people who suffer from morning till night, the woman will carry you for 9 months for belle, and other people who are around you go get small thing where they go tell you belle, because maybe now be the breadwinner or the pancake winner or the pure water winner in the family, so that they pay not too much. But if you choose to follow the hard way, which is not the only way, and you buy on that, then the insurance company will just pay. And somebody will get something to the way you are crying, the tears will not be wavy. Because this is pure wasting of life. That is my understanding.
Thank you. So what I understand you were saying is that, whether we like it or not, people will still do it. So let's not tell them that don't do it. Let us just tell them safe ways to do it. And that's the truth. That's what you talked about Turkey.
Yeah. So I mean, first of all, it's a risk you are assuming yourself. So no insurance going to cover you, by the way. So to come back to the why, right? We understand now that if you follow the trend, Nigerians, we follow the trends and we are quite dedicated to following trends. So it has hit our shores. Now, why is it now taking hold rapid fire? First, there's access. We talk about how to do it safely. A few years ago, there was one plastic surgeon on social media in Lagos. Now, this was the one on in VI, the man. I won't call the name of the brand, but he started it. And I think he returned from either the UK or the US, and he opened his clinic. And then all of a sudden, more and more started popping up. Who was the lady who
that people died?
The lady, right. So we started to see this clinic where somebody died now is in Mende in Maryland. I mean, just the name alone concerns me. But they have 35 or almost 40,000 followers on social media. Wow. So it became accessible. And even though 3 million is a lot of money, it is also not a lot of money in context. So like we said, this surgery is not a particularly expensive one. So there's access. There is motive. Social media is remember I said influencers. You see the people whose lives you want to have on social media, living these lives, and you want it. One of the key areas that I think we talked about it when we had Obina on the show. Some fashion designers have used their bodies, done their bodies, and used their bodies to sell their outfits. That is a strategy to market. Just so this is for you to understand the whys of different people. You already talked about the actresses and the celebrities. It adds to the value. There is now a certain aesthetic that we want to see. So producers, directors, all of these people, they want to see it. So if you're serious about the industry at some point, like Youngest Old Man said, it's the trend. You will either give in.
In fact, sorry, my darling. There's a particular movie, I'll tell you people after the show, that what I heard at the end of the day was because of that role, they were going to give her the lead role. She was not particularly qualified for that movie. And that movie didn't do so well. But because she had gone to do her body, right, they gave her that role. Because you're supposed to look a
certain type of way.
So it's all about the visual.
Exactly. And that's what I'm trying to say, that we're a very visual culture. Look at the AMVCAs now. Picture, it's like, you know, you have a choice. Either you see one that was marginally well done, or a lot of them are botched, by the way. When you see it, you know that. Because it's a very unnatural aesthetic. Your waist is thin. And then it's like somebody just, as you were going, someone just threw a ball at you and it's stuck. That's what it looks like. And I mean, to each their own. If that's the aesthetic that you like, it's great. This is not a body shaming situation. But there are very viable reasons today why people are doing it. And let's not kid people, it's profitable. The people who have done it, whether they be celebrities, whether they be Big Brother housemates, whether they be digital influencers, regular people, they see it's an investment, and there's a real ROI.
Where is the ROI? But let me take Tony from Lagos. I want to know what the ROI is, because it's like say even myself now. I'm thinking something. Tony, you're live. Tommy, go ahead. You're live.
All right. Yeah. Good evening.
Hi.
Good evening.
How are you doing?
Very well.
Yeah, I most appreciate what you're doing there. So let me give, my own little contribution. I will go a bit biblical. You know, we are told in the Bible that God created us in His own image. Anybody, either a woman, man, and all trained in body structure, is saying indirectly that God has not done well. That God has not created. So he or she is adding our own to what is done. That's then two, in my language, there's a proverb that says, "See your money back in and come out the day." If a young person can live in the bush, nobody will tell him or her that dog can get the person. So if you go ahead and do whatever they want to do with their body, the side effects, they will pay for it. As simple as that.
Sorry, Tommy, I can't.
Can you hear me well?
Go ahead, yeah. Thank you, Tommy.
So I think what I was able to grasp from what he said was basically that they should, if they want to do it, they can go ahead and do it. It's their body. But however,
you should know that there are consequences.
There are consequences afterwards.
I was going to say, what's this ROI, right? Because a lot of people have argued that people do these things because of insecurity, but I think it has gone beyond insecurities. It's gone beyond insecurity because, they said that, you see the Brazilian bots particularly, taking out fat and injecting into your butt, that the bomb, I read a medical doctor explaining the tiny veins that are in your buttocks, right? That if they inject that fat and it mistakenly enters any of those veins, it is death straight. So you know how extremely risky this is, and you're doing it. So it has to be beyond just, insecurities and maybe people trying to accept your body. There has to be a financial, profit that comes with it. Because if I'm investing 3 million naira, please, what's the ROI? That somebody will just like my picture on Instagram and I'll have more followers.
The motivations are different. I know somebody who had paid. This was somebody who, no jokes, was probably earning 2M a month. Slim, beautiful, gorgeous person. She paid. The only reason why she didn't do it was in the course of her test, she found out she was pregnant. Oops. Right? But the reality was, it wasn't the ROI thing. She liked the look and she wanted it. So the motivations are different for everybody. Some people, it's about self-esteem. They've never liked their body. They want to change. Yeah. Some people, there is, I want to attract more people. I want to attract more men. Like I said, some people, they use it to sell their business. They have fashion to sell, and this is the way to garner attention. It is profitable wherever. So what profitable means is just like when you say what does success mean to you. It's relative to the different situations. But is there value to it today? Yes, there is. But the fact is, it is also trending. And we know how we are as Nigerians with trends. If I can afford it, and you've seen the pictures. It looks, when you see it, you're like, okay, everybody's going to notice me, and everybody wants to walk in the room and be noticed.
I actually like how you reiterate Nigerians and doing trends are taking it overboard. Because this whole entertainment industry we're talking about, we still watch Hollywood, movies of 2020. They are still looking like normal human beings. Not everybody is like bottle. right? So it feels like we are the ones.
They've passed bottle at this point. Because
it feels like we are the ones that are now crazy. Look, just go to maybe anywhere you watch your movie on, go and watch 2020 movies. Don't even go to 2022. Don't even go to 2021. They are still looking normal. You know, so I get that it's a trend, and I like how she's always reiterating it that when we latch on something, we do it to define now until maybe the whole world will have to come together to beg us, I beg, don't do it again. Yeah. But this trend is now picking its roots more in Africa. And I think it still goes back to that self-esteem.
I want to ask a question, because there are some celebrities that I already knew that they had really cute butts, right? I have one particular one in my mind.
The lady that died, look at the picture of her. She really did it.
But I hear that once you start it, you need to go for refills and all of that.
So you think she has done it before, yeah?
Good. Okay, so you need to go for refills. But I was going to say that, you know, because there were celebrities that I know, they already had cute butts. So when they eventually did, I'm wondering, why did you go and spoil that really nice? See, if I want to do, I've said it. Anybody that cares to know. It's just that I cannot bear pain, right? But you see this my belly, if I have the opportunity to go and make it tiny and flat and everything, so I can wear my bikini, I cannot bear the pain, okay. You understand? So that's why I'm suffering doing my sit-ups at home. You know, I can't bear the pain. But if I had the opportunity to do it, I will. You know, my tummy, I would do but not feeling bum anywhere. No, I don't need that. But I'm just saying to you that, so can insecurity get you to that point where you actually look at yourself in the mirror and, you know, put your life at risk? Is it that bad?
Yes.
I think it can. Wow. Just very case in point, you see people who meet a man today, and the man says, I like somebody who is chubby. Like they begin to eat. Tomorrow they meet another one. I like somebody who is slim. They begin to work out because they want to look. So they don't even have
an identity.
It's based on what the market is. Let me call it market now. What the market is. Like, who am I trying to attract? What do they want? How do they want me to look like? There is no self-realization.
Prince is beholding. I'm sorry. Prince, you're alive. ROI. Prince, you're alive. Is he there? Hello? I think we lost the call.
So you are talking about insecurity.
I just want to
quickly say before you say, people are drug mules. They swallow drugs. For the same ROI, for the same insecurity. People rob today. They do smash and grab on the road. Totally. So I don't understand this question when she said
no, nah.
However, there are other reasons aside from insecurities. I was going to take it from the perspective of, you know, some ladies or some individuals who meet somebody who would want to pay for it. And they would say, oh, this opportunity will not pass me by. I would rather take the pain. I would rather go through everything, the consequences, so long as I'm not the one paying for it.
Absolutely. Austin for Benin, please. We have 1 minute left, though. Go ahead. Austin, you're live.
Yes, I'll be quick. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah. Actually, okay, I want to say that in this your program now, let's be having discussions like this, not politics. This will help to rejuvenate us. Okay, so what I really want to say here is that for Nigerian men who really know what they want, what we look out for is your character and your brain. Your character and your brain, and not whether you have big boots or not. No, that's just the truth. Your character and your brain. Thank you.
Thank you. I think there's a comment on YouTube to that regard.
Says, speaking to what he just says, the bomb is temporary attraction. The brain sustains the relationship. Ladies, enlarge your thinking faculty. And that's from God's power. And it's also interesting that we've not even been able to relate this whole thing to relationship yet, right?
Because,
so what if you have the brain and you now have the bum? That's double blessing for the man. Abi?
But why would a man come
but look at how that music went viral.
To change yourself. Like, if what you're seeing is not what you like, why not go to someone who has what you want? Why do you want to change the entirety of somebody, risk their life, make them feel less of themselves because you want to have them? They are.
So I like how all of you are showing your age. Please, culture changes.
Yes.
Okay,
what men like over time has changed. This is why I said that the power of the beauty industry, it is what the industry tells you is beautiful. So these men who are saying now is because you grew up in a time when, yes, brains were appreciated. Have you met today's young girls? Do you see what happens on Twitter? They don't care what you have upstairs.
Nothing.
They just like what they see. You see people, I mean, there was a day I was just scrolling on Twitter and I saw some, I'm sorry, I can't describe him as anything other than Raggedy Andy young man. With, like, in fact, I couldn't understand it. I thought that this thread was going to be, one of those ones you just post and nothing happens. And he said, I'm looking for my next girlfriend. You want to see the post?
And the like.
Girls started popping their pictures. I'm like,
they were posting their pictures.
I'm telling you to be picked. Do you see the man?
Let's take comments. We have run out of time.
This says, hi ladies. Uti, BBL procedures by relatively healthy, normal women are induced by inferiority complex and need for male attention. Sorry, I'm not using my glasses. Male attention. Speaking as someone who has held natural and cosmetic parts, I testify the natural feels better by far and looks natural in an aging body. For the Toke example, her bum is a poorly done job.
Jesus.
And an eyesore. Ufoma.
That's from Ufoma or not us. Go ahead quickly.
Okay.
Hi guys, while I respect people's opinions, this conversation has left me so confused. People, they try, Sha. Could you please confirm when you have the waist program so I can set my YouTube right? So that's Chisom.
Chisom is 8 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go ahead.
Awesome. Austin from Delta says that people are following the trend doesn't mean one should follow blindly. Let me take you back to yesterday's discussion where one of you said one should understand what he or she wants in a marriage. Yes. I'm over 60 and I know it's different strokes for different folks. Totally. While some men prefer the so-called trim shape, some men love the plus, even over plus ladies. Yeah. It's choice. Okay, it's choice. Plastic surgery is dangerous. Remember a former first lady lost her life some years ago abroad over plastic surgery. Please remain natural. Some ladies bleach and when you see some of them, they look like monsters with patches. Eyesore to behold. It works for some though. Remember, we all do not have the same skin chemistry. Be wise.
Okay, so good evening, my dear beautiful sisters of What Are You Saying Wiz. Why is Brazilian butt lift so lucrative in Nigeria? That is the question for now. There is no too much talk about it. Whether people gain or not, they will still be involved in BBL. Like what youngest old man said, people are interested in what they gain from this and not the consequences. The consequence should be first put into consideration and they should not be stubborn about it. Absolutely. Sister Uti said something very vital. We lost a one-time first lady due to such process. Then where is the gain there? People should first think before changing the shape of their bodies. It's very important. My dear beautiful ladies, Uti, where have you been? I really missed you. Daniel,
we are begging you, stop sending us long comments. Thank you so much, ladies. I think we had fun after all.
Yeah,
trust me. All right, so remember you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, let's continue the conversation online. Now, if you missed today's quote, here it is again. Okay, where's my quote? I don't have a problem with someone having plastic surgery, but I think it's crazy for everyone to have the same body. All right, we'll see you guys live tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen.
World Environmental Day is around the corner. What does this day represent for Nigeria and the world at large? An environmentalist joins our conversation later on the program.
Nigeria has been banned from Basketball World Cup. We will examine the immediate and remote causes of this.
And off the press is our daily analysis of newspaper headlines. A very good morning to you. We're back with the breakfast on Plus TV Africa. What is a beautiful Friday morning, reaching you live from our studios in Victoria Island, Lagos. My name is Kofi Bartels.
I am Messi Bopo. Good morning to you, and thank you for joining us.
All right, it's been quite an eventful week, and of course we have a bumper package for you, and we'll be giving you fantastic discussions with expert guests. But let's look at what has been trending as far as conversations on Nigeria's social media space are concerned. Mercy, very interesting video circulating around the Twitter sphere. I want to call it that yesterday. I don't know if you speak Yoruba like I do, but I listened to that conversation, the speech by former Lagos State Governor Bola Ahmed Tinubu saying, I made President Buhari. He could not have won the 2015 elections without me. All right? There's no way he would have emerged. He would have been nowhere without me. Buhari emerging as the president in 2015 is all my doing. I take the glory. And you had a lot of people interested in this. A lot of people saying, bearing their minds on this. Of course, the supporters of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu were out in full force, saying, oh, yes, indeed, you are the one who made this man president. Without you, he'll be nowhere. And then some people said, hey, hold on, Mr. Tinubu, hold on. You're not just the only one. There are other people who made this man president. Yes, you played a role, but it wasn't only down to you. Now, Tinubu said that he was the one who was able to convince the president to come out of retirement. He said the president was a serial loser. He kept losing and losing and losing until Tinubu showed up. And that the president had announced in the media that he wasn't contesting the presidency again. So this is what the former governor of Lagos State, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has been saying. The fact that he is the one who made the current president of Nigeria.
This whole statement at this point in time, from the president or the presidency, and a lot of people would say that the president himself would not stoop low to engage in this kind of argument back and forth and what have you. But you also have on the other part of the argument that if you talk about making the president, if you have the former governor saying, I made the president, I made him, and without him, without me, there would be no him, there would be no president in 2015. Everyone knows what it is, the fact that there was a merger and all of that. But on the other hand, you talk about compensation. A lot of persons have said, if you look at it, the deal was done. First of all, you couldn't have afforded the Muslim ticket. That wouldn't have passed, because usually it feels like this is what goes on in our political sphere. And so you have this negotiation. I want to become president. You support me. Then I'm going to do something for you at the end of the day. Probably give you some slot, ministerial, senatorial slot. But of course, the Muslim ticket couldn't fly at the time. And so you had the slot of the vice president. I'm sure that over time, there's also a conversation that we've had where people say, oh, you have a Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who's the Vice President of Nigeria, trying to beat the fingers that fed him and all of that. Oh, the boy. You have this argument going. Now, the compensation, a lot of people have said that. You have the slot of the Vice President, which was a compensation to him. You also have, the slot of the Speaker. You have all the offices, ministers, and what have you. But it brings us back, to the conversation of democracy. It brings us back to the question of, do we constantly have to sacrifice ourselves at the altar of all of this? But this is what happened. Whether or not we want to agree with it, we talk about a democratic system, but you also have a system where it's being controlled by a set of persons. It's our current reality, and we have to deal with it. But I really don't understand at what point. The truth is, nobody has a right. I think that the issue that we're having, it brings us back to the next topic that we're going to talk about, where you have at the party level. Because if we don't get it at the party level, we can never get it right anywhere. So at the party level, the issue of democracy is questioned. And if you can have that, then you can have that anywhere, even at the larger, at the system. So what kind of democratic system are we practicing at this point in time, where we constantly have people who say, oh, I did X, Y, Z, and so therefore it is my right? Are you going to slaughter the lives of how many Nigerians at the end of the day? But it starts at the party level. So whatever the party throws up, at the system, in the case where we have in Nigeria, we have multi-party system, where it feels like we're practicing a two-party system. And so in the minds of Nigerians, it has become, a norm. Whether or not we agree, we don't see beyond two-party. We see just, a particular party and another party, and that's it. It's a lot, but I hope that it will be different in 2023.
All right, I'm just going through my Twitter feed. Tinubu is still trending. It shows how important people are taking this. I'm just looking at my Twitter feed right now. He says, I told Buhari to stop crying. I gave him hope. Now he wants to erase me from history. He says that, he said in that speech, and for those who don't speak Yoruba, you'd have to get someone to translate for you. But he says that he will not allow Buhari erase him from history. All right? He will not allow Buhari erase him from history. Some reactions to this, you have some people saying that APC was in the Cold War before the Abeokuta declaration. Now they have a full-blown civil war. He said, if you understand Yoruba well, he said for those who speak, he said in Yoruba that it's the turn of the Yorubas to present or to produce the next president of Nigeria.
Really?
Yes, yeah. He said, I don't speak the language, but if I try to go over what he said, I'm just going to read it. But he said it's a turn of the Yorubas to produce the next president. And he said in Yoruba land, it is his time to be that president. He is the one who is at the front of the queue to be the. These are very, very powerful and strong statements that he made. He said it is the turn of the Yorubas to produce the next president of Nigeria. And then he now said it is his time. If you talk about the Yoruba race or the Yoruba ethnic group, he's the one who is in front of the line to be the representative of the Yoruba race. So there are some arguments as to whether indeed it is a time of the Yorubas to produce the next president of Nigeria. If you want to talk about ethnic groups or we want to talk about geopolitical zones, they were president for 8 years. Mr. Tinubu, I'm sure he's aware that a Yoruba man, all right, in the name of Olusegun Matthew Okikiola Aremu Obasanjo, was president for 8 solid years, and that another Yoruba man in the mold of Professor Yemi Osinbajo has been vice president and will end up being vice president for 8 years. So, and he says it's a trend of the Yorubas to produce the next president. Probably he has some information that people don't have, But if you're to look at turn-by-turn politics, definitely it's not the turn of Yorubas. So Mr. Tinubu is choosing to ignore that. You look at the southeast and the northwest are the two geopolitical zones that haven't produced a president in the history of this country. Or since 1999, let's call it that. So it's either Mr. Tinubu is choosing to ignore that, or he has some information that the public doesn't have, or the public is not privy to. This is some of the issues being raised. But like you said, some have also raised the point, that the position of vice president was compensation for him. And some are raising the point that he has already being compensated, But of course, Mr. Tinubu doesn't see it that way. There's a lot to talk about as regards. This is a full-blown topic.
Yeah,
we don't have all the time
do you
for
think
this.
that the president owes him anything?
I don't know the agreements that they have had. That's why I'm saying.
What sort of agreement?
That they could have had a gentleman's agreement that when I leave, you will come in. But you see, it's very debatable to some people if Mr. Tinubu can take all the glory for producing this man. Because if you look at the APC picture, all right, or the Action Congress picture, the APC is an amalgamation of several political interests and parties. You have the Action Congress bloc, you have the CPC bloc, you have the NPDP bloc, and you have the APGA bloc. All right. So, but of course, Mr. Tinubu is the one who was at the forefront of talking to all these people to come together. I mean, Mr. Buhari had 12 million votes in 2011, I believe. Was it 2011? Yes. Against Yaradua. He had between 11 and 12 million votes in 2011 against Yaradua. That's how huge the CPC was. All right. It came second with 12 million votes. So the party was already big in the north. I need to cross-check that fact. But at a point, he had 6 million votes, and another point, he had 12 million votes. All right? So that party was already huge enough. But would he or could he have become president on his own? We don't know. Now, some people have also mentioned the name Bisi Akonde, that if you want to talk about those from the AC bloc who should immediately be given this position of president, or who were very influential in bringing everything together, that Bisi Akonde's name is the one that should be mentioned before you mention Tinubu's name. Now, I don't know. Like I said, we're not privy to these things. But we move on. Mercy.
Well, moving on, you also have generating a lot of reactions in different spaces. The fact that you have constituents of Koshofe stormed the Lagos APC Secretariat to protest a candidate imposition. They are alleging that a certain Rotimi Ogunsoye, a lawyer representing, was illegally removed, and there was no election that was conducted for the constituency. And so you just had the fact that an announcement was made that a certain candidate has emerged with 44 votes where elections had not happened. Now, in the course of the very first conversation where you talked about, where we are looking at the top trending gists with the former governor of Lagos State, it brings us back to the issue of democracy, internal democracy in our political process or system. And so that's the issue. It's very commendable. It's very commendable. It's a lot of people have said that, yes, this is a good one. It's a right one. It's a step in the right direction. And we applaud them. Because we can continue to act in a certain way and expect a different result. And I think that if we have to get it right as the people, then we need to sort out the fundamental. And the fundamental is what happens at the political level. Where do we have a fair playing ground? Are people given the opportunity to contest? Do you also have a system where you have godfathers hijacking the system and you have a lot of persons that are lording over the structure, whether or not they have financial muscle or they do not have? But how long will we continue with all of this? Because all of this would trickle down. Now, so many persons, a lot of Nigerians are very critical of the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. And people are saying, so you have the former governor of Lagos State coming out to own up to the fact that he's responsible for what is going on, this government, this administration that people are not pleased with. And so he brought this on us. But this is, if you look at it, this thing just happened. It happened it happened at the primary level. It happened at the party level. And so whatever happens at the party level, especially for a structure or a democratic process where we haven't been able to look beyond a two-party system, even if we say that we're practicing a multi-party system, it calls for a lot of concern. It feels that we need to get it right at the political, at the political party level. And so if we're not getting it right at that point, then anything can happen. So you constantly, this is our reality, and there's no need for us to begin to deny and say, oh, it's fake news, it's not fake news, but this is what goes on. Whether it's been reported or not, you constantly have people imposing who they want, and we understand that kind of politics. It's a prebendal kind of politics. You want to say prebendalism or clientelism kind of politics, where you have, those who would continue to be servant and those who would call the shots and all of that. But it would not always reflect, because this kind of politics would never reflect the interests of the people. So you will constantly have people who will manipulate people, who will have people in the system that can do their bidding, but not the bidding of the people. At the end of the day, you have whoever emerges as a governor, president, and local government chairman, a lawmaker. They will do the bidding of who made them the governor or the lawmaker. The interest of the people would not be considered. But we can continue like this, and every other time we say, oh, it's a nascent democracy. Oh, we're getting there gradually. Oh, we're still thriving. So I must say that this is commendable of the people of this the constituency. We're talking about the Koshofe constituency,
Thanks for breaking that down for us, Mercy. I think it behoves on the Independent National Electoral Commission to sit up and get its acts together. We've been having too many incidents of irregularities as far as the political parties and their primaries are concerned. And if you can't get the foundation of democracy right, which is down at the grassroots, down at the party level, then we're already embarking on a futile effort, a futile exercise. So I think it behoves on the Independent National Electoral Commission, which is the electoral umpire, which happens to observe the party primaries, to live up to its to the expectation and to its duty and responsibility. We can't have political parties flouting electoral laws and engaging in fraud within the party. We ought to see and expect to see internal democracy in these political parties. It's very important. It's almost like people are left on their own. The godfathers and the movers and shakers in these political parties are allowed to do whatever they want to do, have a field day. So it's very important that INEC steps in and does the needful, so we don't have these cases of irregularities within the parties. I think we've done too much. INEC has done too much and invested too much to ensure that our democracy is advanced, is improved, moves forward, and we're still stuck in the past as far as the internal democracy in the parties is concerned. INEC needs to step up and do better. I mean, we don't have to worry about ballot box snatching anymore. That is a thing of the past. It's almost alien or unknown to the generation of new voters we have in Nigeria. We don't have ballot box stuffing or massive thumbprinting of ballot boxes in government houses across the states. It doesn't happen anymore because you can't do that. The game has changed, So it's we've been moving forward. We've made some strides, but this particular one of fraud, of malpractice within the parties, it's threatening to keep us in the past. So INEC needs to do something quickly about this. Mercy. All right, let's look at this unfortunate story, video put out on social media by